I cut the check, I cut the check, I cut the check. Tell my niggas we up next, so we up next. She shot a text, she shot a text, she shot a text. Kill the I might put the different day, put a nigga on that same shit. I've been ballin' with my niggas, Kevin Cambridge. Oh, you drippy, but you better tuck your chain quick.
What's up, guys? We back with another episode of Between the Lines, and today is an exciting episode because sports is back. Everything's back. The NFL, they're starting training camp in like a week. MLB just started 2 days ago, and the NBA started scrimmages on Wednesday. So sports is back, and I'm really excited for that. And it's been a really fun experience watching like all the scrimmages, all the opening days of MLB, and well, actually, one of the opening days got rained out. The Yankees versus, I don't know, they faced somebody and they got rained out in the 5th inning, so we couldn't see that. But it's just happy to know that sports is coming back, so let's get into it. So, might as well start with MLB. So, earlier in the week, well, last week, in spring training, I don't know if you guys know, but a couple years ago, the Houston Astros, they cheated in the finals. The championship, and it just got like big, like all the news broke out last summer. So now that everybody knows like for sure that they cheated, now like nobody likes them. And as far as the other MLB players, like they're just going after them. Like players got hit with back-to-back pitches against, in the spring training in the first or second game. The Houston Astros got hit with back-to-back pitches. It was like crazy because like that might happen the whole season because like they cheated and like a lot of players just don't like them and like mad at what they did. So now all these pitchers just might just keep hitting them, and it's not going to be blatant sometimes, but like sometimes they're going to obviously do it on purpose, but like it's going to look like it's not on purpose. And I guess that's what they deserve for cheating. And it was a big scandal, and like nobody can say they didn't do it because like it already put out there that you did it, so it's no lie that say you didn't do it. But other than that, MLB's back. It's a couple games on today. I'm gonna start watching MLB more. I can't really watch it on TV. I love playing MLB. I love playing baseball in real life, but I can't really like watch it. Like going to the games, I can watch it. The atmosphere is pretty cool. I like watching Orioles games in person. Well, not anymore, but like a couple years ago when they were good. But like watching it on TV is boring. Like it just takes too long, and like it's rarely that you'll get a home run or like a hit out of nowhere. So like it's just sometimes hard to watch. But other than that, other sports is coming back. NFL, they're starting spring training in a couple. Not spring training. They're starting training camp in a couple of days, and that's going to be cool to watch. But then it's also bringing some turmoil because unlike the NBA, there's like no bubble, so like it's no safety from the coronavirus, which is still out, but like the players in NFL just feel like the NFL is just treating it like the coronavirus is not out. Like one of the players on the Chiefs, he just said he's not playing. Like he's gonna, I think they said forgo the season. So I think he opted out of his contract for the season, and he said he's not playing because like obviously the NFL doesn't care. Yes, they're doing daily tests, but that's it. Like you got other people just coming to the training camps to practice. No mask on, like no nothing, no protection. And it's not like the NBA where it's a bubble. Everybody has to wear masks. Everybody gets tested every day. It's like so much stuff that protects the players in the NBA that the NFL is just not doing, and that's crazy because those are the top 2 leagues in the world. And it just shows which league cares about the players more. And like the NFL, they just have all these players, all their big players mad. And Todd Gurley just said the other day that, like the person on the Chiefs, Todd Gurley would sit out if there's like no rules or safety for the players from the coronavirus. And that's a big player, so that can bring up a lot of noise in the NFL. And that's sad, man, because like it's just basically saying the NFL doesn't really care about their players. And we kind of already knew that when Colin Kaepernick was going through his whole kneeling down for police brutality, racial injustice. The NFL just kind of blackballed him out the league, and he just couldn't find a team. Nobody wanted to sign him. Nobody still wants to sign him. They're just trying to do it right now because that's the main topic. They want to act like they're with it, but they're not really. They're not really for what he's trying to do with racial reform. And that's crazy because like on the other side, the NBA, they're with their players. They got Black Lives Matter on the court. and you can see that they're with their players all the way. Like Russell Westbrook, he's like a very fashionable guy, and he has his own brand. So now the NBA is going to partner with Russell Westbrook and do like a shirt or like a clothing line for racial reform, and most of it's going to have Black Lives Matter and other stuff. So like you're going to see like who cares about who more. Like the NBA obviously cares about the players. They got this whole bubble so these players can stay safe. And then at the end of the 2 months, when they feel this safe enough, they can bring some of their family in. Like you see that the NBA really cares about their players, and that's a great thing. That's why that's the best league in the world. Like the NFL, they just need to change it up and like protect these players because they're coming out making you money, playing these games while the coronavirus is still happening, and some of them might not be able to see their family for a long time because they're out on the road all the time. Like the NFL, other than the NBA, they're going to travel all the time, and they're actually going to have fans in the stadium when they do play, which is crazy. But I don't know. I just hope the NFL can change it so we can just get a nice, peaceful football season, and we can get. Hopefully, the NFL just change up the guidelines to show that they care about their players because obviously it's affecting the players a lot, and like. Other than the NBA, like the NBA has their teams posting Black Lives Matter and all that. You don't see none of that in the NFL. And actually the San Francisco 49ers tried to post it, but like everybody was like, that's bull crap because when Colin Kaepernick was saying the same thing a couple years ago, y'all just let him go. So hopefully they can change it up, but that's all that really happened in the NFL. Like I said, that one player just said he's not playing, he's gonna forego the season, so might get a lot of that if they don't change it up. Because it's obviously that they don't care right now. Yeah, like I said, the NBA came back and they're doing scrimmages now, so that's really fun to watch. Like basketball is back. I love basketball. I've been missing it ever since it got out of the world. Ever since everything stopped, I couldn't even go out and play basketball no more. I had to stay quarantined. So like now to finally watch it is like a fresh air. So I'm happy that it's back. And it started off with the first scrimmage was the Orlando Magic versus the Clippers, which was a decent game. Paul George had a decent game. Lou Williams had a Lou Williams type game, 22 points, just scoring at an easy level. He looked like he got faster. Like he's like 32, so he's getting old, but like he looked like he got quicker throughout the break. He got braids now. It seems like everybody that had like hair going into the season. I mean, when the season was about to stop, now they came back, they got braids. It's like everybody has braids now. But still, he had a really good game. Paul George had a decent game, 18 points. His game is really smooth, really smooth. I'm starting to realize it. Like it's real smooth the way he plays. It's like it's not like so fast. Like he likes to take his time and like to break you down a lot. I'm like, yeah, that's smooth. I like watching Paul George play. Other than that, like other players, you could tell like first game back, it's gonna be a lot of players that's not gonna do real good. Like even one of the best in the world, Kawhi didn't really have a great game his first game back, but he didn't really play. He played like the first half, didn't play the second half, and that's a lot of things. That's what I'm thinking we're gonna see a lot is some of these big players are not gonna play in the preseason, well, in the scrimmages, or they're not going to play in those 8 games that we get before the postseason, the playoffs, because you can easily get hurt. And I understand them if they don't play. I understand, because like you can get hurt doing anything, falling down the wrong way, anything. So I will understand if they don't play, but I'm just wondering. I want to see everybody play, but I will understand if nobody plays. Well, none of the big players play. But other than that, this game was pretty cool. Vucevic had a good game on the Magic. Other than that, Aaron Gordon had a lot of great moves like that I seen. Like he also got quicker, but it looks like he also added to his game like a little post game. I was like, all right, I like that from Aaron Gordon because he's like that player that we see year in and out, year on. I don't know how to say that, but like a player we see every year. And, like it doesn't look like he changed anything about his game, but like. It looked like this quarantine he added a little post game, so that's nice to see. But the next game was like the big game that like really kicked off scrimmages. The Nuggets versus the Wizards, and it's none of the part for the Wizards. They had Roy Hachimura, he had a decent game, had 18 points. But other than that, it was just the Wizards. They're just there for nothing, like I said in the past episode. But on the other side, it was the Nuggets putting out this big old lineup of Jokic at the point guard, which I said that he should play anyway because that's basically his position. Jeremy Grant at the 2, decent. He plays a small forward and a power forward, so it was kind of weird to see him there, but they didn't really have nobody else to put there, so they put him there. Bol at the 3, 7'3" guy, like I said in the last episode, that if they plug him in, it's going to be scary, which it was. I'll talk about that later. Paul Millsap at the 4, defensive anchor. Mason Plumlee, a versatile center that I'm starting to realize. He can pass, he can dribble, dunk, run the floor, good on defense. He's really versatile. I like him. But that lineup, the average height of that lineup is 6'9". So if that lineup was to face the Rockets, they would kill the Rockets because nobody on the Rockets is sticking that team. And like I said, when you let Bobo play, he's gonna look like he should have been drafted high, which he should have. Instead of being drafted number 44, he should have been at least top 5, top 10. And he had 16 points, 10 rebounds, 6 blocks. Mind you, that was against the Wizards, and they don't really have a guy that's big enough to challenge Bobo. But like, he was still dominating, running the floor, passing. He got a block, turned around, dribbled up the court. Jokic was right there calling for the ball. Ran past Jokic and put up 4-3 and splashed it. Like, he's 7'3". You shouldn't be doing that at 7'3". The only other person that can do that at 7'3" is Kristaps Porzingis. But it just looks so smooth the way he did it. And I've been telling people like he has a talent that he should have been drafted top 10. I don't care if he got hurt in college. That potential of Bobo is skyrocketed. I see his potential over Zion because I don't see Zion ever getting a jump shot. And the one thing people say about Bobo is he needs to get big. It's way easier to get big than get a jump shot in the NBA to me. And I just see his potential being so high, especially on this team. You got Jokic and Bobo right next to each other. That just seems unstoppable. When Jokic, he's already a finished product. Like, he's already good. You get Bobo to be how he was in high school, just great scoring. He was an elite scorer in high school. If you get his potential up, get it up, then you got Michael Porter Jr. right next to him. Like, this Nuggets team can be nasty going on down the line. So like, if they unlock Michael Porter Jr. and Bobo, this team can be great. And this team that they have right now can be a title contender with those two players put into the lineup. And then they won't have to trade nobody. They still should trade Gary Harris because like he just showed that he's not the old Gary Harris. He really can't score no more defense and not really like that like it was anymore. So like I still think they should go out and try to get Drew Holiday. But other than that, this team can contend with the pieces that they do have right now. They have a superstar, they have a great young core, and they have decent veterans around them and a great coach. So like this team can contend with what they have right now. So we'll see what they do. Hopefully they can put the pieces together. Hopefully Bobo can grow and get bigger, because that's the one thing I say he should do is like try to get bigger, because when he faces Joel Embiid, Anthony Davis, Steven Adams, he's gonna get killed. But if he gets bigger, it's like he can challenge those players because he's way taller than them, and he's starting his skill potential is up there with a lot of players. So we'll see what they do with that team. But like the next game that was on was the Pelicans versus Nets, and that game was like really boring. I'm not gonna lie. Like with the Pelicans, nobody really had a good game. It was more spread out. Like the highest player that had the most points was Brandon Ingram. He only had 12 points. So yeah, this game was like really boring. Everybody really didn't have a great game, and it was crazy because it was still a blowout. And partially the reason why it was a blowout is because they played the Nets, and like I said in the past episode, the Nets don't really have nobody. They don't have nobody. All their players is not playing this season and not coming back. KD, Kyrie, especially Dinwiddie. Karis LeVert had a terrible game. Everybody's saying he might average 25 points when the league comes back. I don't see that from him because this year he really didn't have a great year at all. So I don't know what we're going to see from this team. They're obviously going to get 4-0 in the playoffs against whoever they play. And I wouldn't be surprised if they come back and lose every game. They might get bounced out of the playoffs. All the Wizards have to do is win 5 games. I don't know if they can do that either, but I'm just saying both of those teams looks terrible, and this is real bad to watch. And it was really hard to watch with this team. But this game was really boring. Zion came back. That's a really great thing. Zion came back. He's going through a quarantine right now where he has to be isolated for 4 days. And it's already been 1 day, so he has 3 more days left. And he's going to be back before the NBA really comes back on Thursday. So that's great to see. But other than that, not really talk about this game. But the next game was the Pacers versus the Blazers. Now, this game had some bright points, and it also really had, like, some points where I was like, I don't know about these teams together. First of all, well, I'm not going to say that. The Trailblazers, they had a really good game. But I'm going to start with the Pacers. The point, what I'm talking about, where I see, like, this might be kind of weird, or this might be scary, where it doesn't look like Victor Oladipo doesn't look like he's going to be the player that we seen 2 years ago. And I'm not going to say that, like, I'm not going to stand firm on that point because he's still coming back from an injury. But let me take you guys back. 3 years ago, 2017, Isaiah Thomas was having a great year. Top 3 MVP voting, 5'9" player averaging 28 points. Went to the playoffs. His sister died in the playoffs. Came back the next game and dropped 52 points. He was having a great playoffs. And then I think one game he separated his hip. Then he tried to play the next series with a separated hip. Messed up his career forever. And I'm stuck to say that because Isaiah Thomas is one of my favorite players to watch. I love Isaiah Thomas. But I can just see right now that he's not the player that he was 3 years ago. He was supposed to get up to $28 million that year. The next year, after he separated his hip and he tried to play, he got $2 million. Messed up his money forever. And that sucks because you tried to play on a separated hip and you were playing LeBron. Like, I know you want to go to the championship. Sorry. I know you want to go to the championship, but you're not beating LeBron. Playoff LeBron. That was 2018 playoffs. You weren't beating LeBron. But the thing is, he just wanted that championship. And I know you were greedy, but you had a separated hip, and it got worse. It got worse, and it messed you up in the long run because now you had a $28 million contract sitting on the table, and now it's gone because you wasted. You tried to play with an injury. And following year after that, Blake Griffin did the same thing. He had a rupture in his leg, and his team was already down 3-0 against the Bucks. Even if Blake Griffin would have played that whole series, they still would have got swept. And that's no disrespect to Blake Griffin, but the Bucks were just on some different shit last year. The Bucks was crazy last year, but Blake Griffin played on that torn leg, something like that, torn ligament, and like I said, it just looks like it's going to mess up his career even more. But the difference between him and Isaiah Thomas is he already got his money. He started getting paid $30-some million because last year he just had an amazing year. But still, he came back this year and looked so terrible that, like, everybody just looks at this year with Blake Griffin and be like, oh, this year doesn't count. He just looked terrible. He barely played. Only played 16 games this year. But it just looks so terrible. And I'm just hoping that he comes back like he did last year, because when he came back this year, it just looked terrible. And it's partially because when he played on that torn ligament in his leg, it made it worse. And I just hope that Victor Oladipo doesn't do the same thing. Now, he had a separated knee last year, came back this year, looked terrible, but then the last 2 games before the season ended, he looked decent. And then yesterday, well, not yesterday, 2 days ago, he just didn't really look good at all. And I just want him to take this break. Don't play this season, the rest of the season, because the Pacers not really going to do nothing. DeMontis Sabonis, he's out for the rest of the season, most likely. So that's a big piece gone. And he just shown that he's, Victor Oladipo just shown that he's not really been doing good this season. And I don't want him to risk him getting more money in free agency, which he's supposed to get the next year. And he's going to get a lot of money because a lot of teams need a player like that. That's an unselfish player and that knows his role. And he's going to get a lot of money. And I don't want him to mess that up by trying to play when he doesn't look the same. I just want him to rehab his knee fully instead of trying to force himself to play. But he says he's good, but you can see that it doesn't look like he's good at all. And I hope he doesn't play. And other than that, the Blazers had a really good game. Damian Lillard, he just tried to show that he was a playmaker. He was playmaking all day that day. And Yusef Nurkic just showed why I think he's going to be an all-star soon, dominating in the post. He's up against Jakar Sampson, a 6'9" power forward. So like that's not nobody big. It wasn't impressing, but like it was impressive to see Nurkic go off his first game back, post moves, shooting mid-range shots, and it's just a bright spot for that Blazers team, because that's a player that they miss. A versatile center that can shoot, play defense, and pass. And then the great part is Carmelo looks like the old Carmelo. He got skinny and looked quick as hell the other day. So it just adds to my point that like they can probably beat my Lakers. But other than that, that game's pretty good. Like I said, this game was pretty good to watch. A fun game. Gary Trent Jr., he went off. CJ McCollum did good. Gary Trent like had 16 points and great defense on Victor Oladipo. And Gary Trent Jr. is not really like he's a good defender, but like he's not really a defensive type guy. And he was strapping Oladipo up. Oladipo only had like 5 points. But it was a really good game, really bright spot to see Yusef and Zach Collins will come back from injury. So we'll see with the Blazers. Like I said, they could be my Lakers. I hope it doesn't happen. I don't see it to happen. But other than that, we're good. The Thunder versus the Celtics. This is another little weird type game because the Thunder just blew them out. Jason Tatum only had 3 points. Jaylen Brown had 9. I don't think Kemba even played. Yeah, Kemba did not play. He's dealing with an injury. Gordon Hayward did pretty good. But other than that, it was like a blowout. Especially because, like, Steven Adams just went off. Like, he just proved me wrong. He might be a top 10 center. Because he was just dominating the Celtics on the boards, on the post. He's not even a post player. He had a quick first step the other day. Like, Steven Adams was going crazy the other day. He was doing great on defense, blocking shots. And he might be a top 10 center. I might have been sleeping on Steven Adams a little bit. And the Thunder team looks like a team that can challenge a lot of players. I said that, but like they really look good when they came back. They can challenge. They can upset a big team in the West. And I wouldn't be surprised. They're led by CP3. CP3 is a playoff player, and an underrated playoff player at that. And he just has an amazing team around him. He has so much help to where he can just rest and like come back in the fourth quarter when they really need him and do CP3 type stuff, which he's been doing all season. And this team just looked really good the other day. A player that you guys might not know. I think it's Luke Dort. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I know who he is. He had a really good game shooting threes, playing good defense. Darius Baisley had a little decent game. And it's going to be cool to see this team grow in the playoffs especially. And I can't wait to watch them play real basketball because I really didn't watch them the whole season. But they're going to have a lot of TV games. And I really want to watch them because I really want to pay attention to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I want to see the hype. I know he's a great player, but I really haven't watched him. So I really want to go in depth and like pay attention to his game. And also Steven Adams because he had a really good game. Like I said, 17 points. So it's cool to see that. But on the other side of the ball, the Celtics really didn't do nothing. Their players really didn't have a good game. But I didn't. Alright, so the next game that came on was the Jazz versus the Suns. Now, this was a great game to me. This was a really good game. And it showed me a lot. Our rookie, Ty Jerome, he had a really good game to me. To show that, like, development, as soon as he can grow, like, he can be that point guard next to Devin Booker. It might take a long time, so I don't know if it's going to happen. But, like, he had a lot of flashes in that game. Good passing, he can shoot, he can create for his own. So, he showed a lot of flashes in that game. Of course, Devin Booker did his thing, smooth as ever. DeAndre Ayton had a great game, shot at 3, something I haven't seen him do in a long time. And hopefully Kelly Oubre comes back so this team can actually, like, have some games worth watching. Well, their team already worth watching, but, like, if they're full strength, this can be a really good team to like really watch, and like they can compete, but they're not going to make the playoffs because they're so far behind. And that sucks for Devin Booker because he just wants to win. He want to go to the playoffs so bad. Well, on the other side of the ball, Joe Ingles and Rudy Gobert, they ran a pick and roll all game, and it just looked so elite. And Joe Ingles is like a great passer that I really haven't seen from him in a long time. And Rudy Gobert was nice, rolling to the hoop, blocking shots like he normally does. Donovan Mitchell had a decent game. And Mike Conley showed that he might be back. Playmaking, shooting, sticking good defense. So he showed that he might be back to the real Mike Conley that we know. Probably not the 20-point Mike Conley, but that's what they're going to need because they lost Bogdanovic. So hopefully that's good. And this led me to an argument that I want to have. Fortunately, I have nobody to have it with, but you guys can leave a comment in the comment section on what you think. But I really want to know why people think Donovan Mitchell is better than Zach LaVine and Devin Booker. To me, Donovan Mitchell was drafted into the perfect situation where he can be that scorer, he can be that decent defender, and he has like so much around him that like if he does something wrong, it doesn't really matter because he has so much pieces around him that he was drafted into so perfectly. And people tend to overrate him as a defender. He's not really that good of a defender, and it's partially because he has Rudy Gobert behind him, one of the best defenders in the league. So everybody's going to say he's a great defender because he's decent as keeping his player in front of him, but sometimes he really doesn't have to worry about it because if his player gets past him, Rudy Gobert is right there. So like I don't understand like why he gets put on that pedestal as like an elite defender. Like people say he's an elite defender. I don't see that. Just because he can stand in front of his player, Devin Booker can do that. Zach LaVine can do that. But all three of them are not really good IQ defenders. So I don't know why Donovan Mitchell gets put on that pedestal. And as far as defense, other than that, Zach LaVine and Devin Booker, their offensive game is way better than Donovan Mitchell. No disrespect, but it's facts. And I just feel like he's getting put on that pedestal because he's drafted into the perfect situation with a team that was already really good, and they just needed that one shooting guard. He fit perfectly into it. Now I'm not knocking his game. I know he's a great player, a really good player, but I'm just saying, what's the difference between him and Zach LaVine and Devin Booker? I don't really see nothing. I see Devin Booker better than both of those guys. He's way better than both of those guys. But I'm saying, like, what does Donovan Mitchell do to put him on that pedestal as an all-star? Because to me, Devin Booker was an all-star before Donovan Mitchell this year. Even though Donovan Mitchell got that nod, I just think it's because he was on a better team, way better situation, great offense, great team. And Devin Booker's on the Suns, who really have a horrible organization, can't win for nothing, and he's just the only bright spot other than him and DeAndre Ayton. So it's like it was not for him to do. And I just feel like he had the better stats. He had a better year, and he should have been the All-Star, but Donovan Mitchell was the All-Star. But Devin Booker made it, but that's because Damian Lillard got hurt. So I don't know. I don't see the difference. I don't see why Donovan Mitchell was put on that pedestal over them. And I see Devin Booker and Zach LaVine as better players than Donovan Mitchell. No disrespect, like I said, but that's just how I see it. And hopefully he proves me wrong in the playoffs. Hopefully he adds playmaking to his game. That's why I feel like that can put him above those players, because I'm not saying his defense is terrible, but his defense is pretty cool. But like I said, it's also a big impact to have two-time defensive player of the year and Rudy Gobert right behind you. But if he adds playmaking, then it's like no question that he's better than those guys. Even though I'm not going to say that. I can't say that because Devin Booker's playmaking is elite. He averaged 7 assists last year, also with 26 points. So I don't know. Maybe I was just talking right there, but I don't know. But other than that, guys, we got the Lakers playing right now. I'm going to try to watch that on my phone. And the WNBA is back. I can't wait to watch that. I love WNBA. They need to get more attention. That's why I like seeing the NBA players wearing WNBA merch, because I just feel like they need more attention. They're just people playing basketball just like the NBA is. And they're interesting to watch. I don't understand why they get so much hate And why they get paid so less money than NBA players, I don't understand that at all. That's something really confusing that somebody needs to explain to me. But I can't wait to watch that. Sue Bird goes against, I'm going to say her name wrong, Sabrina Ionescu. One of the best college player, man or female, of all time. Sabrina is. And Sue Bird is one of the best WNBA players of all time. So I'm going to try to watch that. But other than that, that's it for today's episode, guys. It was a little weird episode. I want to say my allergies was acting up. I kept having to blow my nose. So I'm sorry if you see me doing that. But other than that, that's it, guys. Alright guys, we back. So I made another mistake. I forgot to talk about the Raptors versus the Rockets. Now this game, to me, was the second best game after the Lakers versus the Mavericks. But I didn't even talk about the Lakers versus the Mavericks. I gotta talk about this. Jeez, I was trying to rush. I had, my nose was running, I'm sorry. But look, so the Rockets versus the Raptors. This game was the second best game, like I said. And it was because it just showed a lot. The Rockets starting lineup was really good. Other than that, the bench was just getting killed. It was terrible. James Harden still did his thing, 24 and 11. He was trying to pass a lot in the first half. I was liking that out of him. Russell Westbrook looked really explosive. PJ Tucker was in his threes like he usually does, and the team looked really good in the first half. But then when it came to the time where both of the teams had their benches in, it just looked terrible. Like the Rockets were getting killed. And that's what makes it so crazy about the Raptors is at any day, any player on that team can be the number one scorer. Because all of them, their game is so spread out. And that's how Nick Nurse runs his system. Like, he doesn't run his team through one person. It's ran through the whole team. It's ran through the whole team. Anybody can be the scorer at that day. And it's really fun to watch. Terrence Davis had a really good game, had 15 points. Serge Ibaka had 18 points. Like that team is real fun to watch to me because they can be so spread out at sometimes. And to me, it's unstoppable the way they run their team because you don't know who to plan for. Obviously, you're going to plan for Pascal Siakam because he is the number one scorer on that team. He is the best person on that team. But at any day, Fred VanVleet can go out and get you 20-something. At any day, Kyle Lowry can get you 20-something. Marcus Gasol, Serge Ibaka, Terrence Davis, Norman Powell, they can all give you 20-something. And, like, that's why I feel like this team is definitely a contender because at any day, the game for this team is so spread out. And I just love the way this team plays basketball. I love their coach. Like I say, I love Nick Nurse. And I just feel like this team can be anybody, man. This team can definitely go through anybody, especially in a game of 7. With Nick Nurse as your coach, you can be anybody. And I just can't wait to see how this team plays in the playoffs, man. And like I said, this game just showed me a lot with this team. This is so crazy. And best game of the scrimmages so far that brought the most atmosphere that felt like a real game was the Mavericks versus the Lakers. Now, I'm happy that this happened again because we already played the Mavericks 4 times. And every time we played them was a good game except the last game. We blew them out. But every time we played them was a good game. So I'm happy that this happened. But this game was really good. Luka had 13-6. Played the first half. And like I said, a lot of players, they're not going to put up big stats. First game back in 4 months, you're not gonna put up big stats. LeBron had 13 again. Anthony Davis had like 9. Had like 12, and it just showed the way we're gonna be. The one thing that I found that was scary is when LeBron's on the bench. That's it. That's our only playmaker. So we was running a lot of ISOs when he went to the bench, and I did not like that at all. I don't like ISO ball, and it just showed like. Kyle Kuzma was trying to run ISO. Dion Waiters was trying to run the team when LeBron went to the bench. And that's what I'm saying. He can be a ball stopper. He can be that type of player that would just take the ball from the person that needs the ball at that moment. And he did make some good plays. I'm not going to lie. He made some good plays. But it was times that he just went past and he was trying to get a bucket for himself. And that's why I need to say that I didn't realize Rondo's impact of our team because he was that playmaker off the bench that we really do need. So that sucks that we don't have a playmaker. Alex Caruso is coming back, but he's not really a playmaking type of guard. He's an energy type guard, a good defender. He can give you a couple passes. He can score a couple times, but like his main impact to me is on defense. Like he makes a big impact. So that's why I like Alex Caruso a lot. But I just feel like when LeBron's on the bench, we have no playmaker, and that can really hurt us when it comes into the playoffs because it's so iso ball. And most of the time, our scorers on the bench is not consistent scorers that can give us points off the bench. So that iso ball can just lead to breaks and misses all the time. So I don't know. But the Mavericks had a decent game. Seth Curry showed that he's not only a shooter, that the world needs to realize he's not only a shooter. He can pass, he can defend, and he can score without shooting. Like he can get his own bucket. And I just like the way he changed his game in the last few seasons. And he's that perfect piece next to Luka because he's always ready. And when you see him shoot, you always think he's going to go in. He had 23 points, 8 for 8 shooting, did not miss a shot. He was just a bright spot on that team that this team, along with the Raptors, they have a lot of players that can be the leading scorer. But most of the time, it's going to be Luka. That's the fact, though. It's going to be Luka. Kristaps didn't really have a good game because he foul trouble, but it was the first game back. I'm not really going to judge people the way they played the first game because, well, except Victor Oladipo, because I just seen the way he was playing. It just looked so slow. But other than that, I'm not really going to judge people out their first game because you haven't played in 4 months, and it's so you're just getting all your mojo back. So it's going to be hard for them to get it back, and it's going to take a couple games. That's why I'm happy that they gave them scrimmages and that they get these little 8 warm-up games, even though for some teams it really does count to make it to the playoffs, but I'm happy they gave it to them. And I missed the Heat and the Kings game. I missed that game, so I don't want to talk about it because I don't really know what happened. I seen highlights of Tyler Hero going nuts. I know Duncan Robinson had like 9 points in the first 2 minutes just shooting threes, one of the best shooters ever that I've ever seen. But other than that, I don't really know what happened, so I'm not going to focus on that game a lot. But other than that, that was it for scrimmages. I talked about I didn't talk about the 76ers. That's one part that I forgot about. Playoff Ben Simmons is coming. I'm trying to tell you guys, playoff Ben Simmons is coming. He worked out with a trainer this season that made him this quarantine that made him shoot, and like it just helped him on his confidence of shooting. He shot 2 threes the other day, no hesitation, made one. And it's just something that we don't see from Ben Simmons. And I'm telling you, if he adds a shooting to his game, he's easily a top 10 player. Already top 15 without it. So he's easily a top 10 player, debatably top 5 player, because there's no reason that Ben Simmons shouldn't be playing just like Giannis right now. Same build, same person, play the same way. Both dominate in the paint, both dominate in transition, dominate on defense. And both of them are learning how to shoot. Obviously, Giannis is further ahead. He knows how to shoot. And he showed, it was a highlight of him shooting 15 threes in a row. So that's scary for the league. But these players, they play just alike. And they're just players that once-in-a-lifetime players. And I love that Ben Simmons got in the gym. And not only focus on his three, but like focus on the confidence of shooting the three. Because that's all his team ever needed him to do, was just be able to shoot the three. So maybe they show me that him and Joel Embiid can work together. And they show that, then this team, like I said, this team can make a finals, and you would not be surprised because they have the talent. So I can't wait to watch this team in the playoffs. And I'm telling you guys, playoff Ben is coming.